So why should I care about visual storytelling? That's the thing a lot of people ask. Is a lot of times people in general, when you're looking at any kind of environment or you're playing any kind of game, typically you need some kind of immersion. There needs to be some kind of immersion, some kind of attachment to you, the player, and you, the person viewing the scene, and also the environment that you're showing. So you want to think of the scene as not only essentially an environment that you're creating, but you want to actually captivate the player in some way by giving them some context clues as to what's going on in the scene or how they should be interpreting the scene. So the first thing we're going to talk about is tone and mood and response. So tone, mood, and response are probably one of the biggest things. So that's probably one of the most visual things you'll see right away when you're playing any game is the tone, mood, and response. So we can see here in something like a game like Fallout 76, we have like this like really heavy yellow color cast going on in the scene with like this kind of like foreboding figures with a lot of silhouette shapes and shadows. And this is kind of meant to provide mood. So the game's not like this for the entire time, but during parts of the game when it is like this kind of gives you the context of like the sudden danger, this kind of sense of eerie kind of, murkiness of being unsure of what's out there, kind of in the space between you and the fog and the kind of background area. And again, 76, a completely different scene, but from the same game. So we can see here we have these like bright colored trees, very open road. It kind of is alluring to kind of making you want to open and explore the space. And these are two different things from the same game. So in the other scenario, it's an area where you'd be fighting a boss or you'd be doing something that would kind of be telling a story of like staying more closer to the area that you're in at the moment. Whereas this is kind of alluring you to try to more travel, explore the space, to explore your surroundings, to look around you, and to really be comfortable. Because the more comfortable you are as a player, and when you're immersed in that space, the more you're going to be open to like check things out and like look through these different areas that you might not have necessarily explored otherwise. Especially in a game where it's like kind of scary, like a lot of games that you'll play that are kind of like more ominous and foreboding. You kind of have the sense of like, oh, I'll just kind of keep a tight look around me, and you don't want to be you want to be pretty cautious about exploring. But when you have games that are much more open and much more visually pleasing and much more, I guess, like has a sense of like calmness, you feel much more open to want to explore that space. And here we have a shot from Gears 5. So this is a kind of a different mood where you have this like really blue color cast going on. We have these kind of like scary, like, icicles across the trees. And this is just kind of giving you that sense of danger, that kind of sense of like, your life's in jeopardy kind of thing. And then all those kind of things build a tone, sense, or mood while you're playing the game as to like how you should be feeling through those particular moments of the gameplay. Here's a shot from Resident Evil. And so this is like one of those things too. Color can play an important composition note to your scenes as well. This is almost completely sepia tone. And that can play important ideas to like time period and understanding like the context of the room and understanding, even though it just might be some simple props in the space, just the idea of the color cast alone can give the idea of kind of a foreboding temperature or mood.
I really love that piece, by the way, dude. That's like just totally starting to push my 1920s 30s like film.
Definitely.
But, yeah, this is really great.
And then the other thing is too, we can do counter. So essentially, like if you have a game, like say for instance, Last of Us, or a game where like the tone typically throughout the entire game is very dark or moody, what we can do is at times we can give the players a kind of a chance to relax their eyes and to kind of relax their mood. If you keep people on high end the entire game, games don't have really a lot of like ebb and flow. And so you get kind of this point where you're just like, you're constantly on high end and you're constantly alert all the time. You're constantly scared. It doesn't allow the player to have relaxation. And also, so you have like more like exciting moments in the game, so you have ups and downs. And so sometimes when you break that, you go the opposite way of what the rest of the game entails visually, it allows the player to kind of give a bit of relaxation. Then here's a scene I created. So generally for my own artwork, I really enjoy like the idea of like taking a mundane space and kind of selling a story or mood or tone as a whole. So with this space, it's just a simple laundromat, but with the color palette and how the composition's framed and generally like the FOV and a bunch of other things, we're able to kind of convey this sense of like kind of a eerie, sudden suspense that it's like, I'm not quite sure if anything could happen, even though it's in a normally safe place. Just the color, tone, and mood itself provides me that something kind of is eerie a bit here.